Print culture and the modern world. Early forms of print were first seen in these countries. Buddhist missionaries carried knowledge of print from China to Japan. China. Accordion book. The traditional Chinese accordion book was folded and stitched at the side. For a very long time, China remained the major producer of printed material. The civil service examination expanded the use of print material. Scholars and even merchants started using print material. Rich women began to read and publish their poetry and plays. Shanghai became the hub of the new print culture. Japan, the oldest Japanese book, printed in 868 AD, is the Buddhist Diamond Sutra. Pictures were printed on textiles, playing cards, and paper money. In medieval Japan, poets and prose writers were regularly published. Kitagawa Utamaro printed the ukiyo. Print comes to Europe. In 1295, Marco Polo, a great explorer, returned to Italy after many years of exploration. He brought the knowledge of print technology back with him from China. Mechanization of print. The first printing press, Gutenberg's printing press. Johann Gutenberg was the son of a merchant and grew up on a large agricultural estate. The olive press provided the model for printing press. Molds were used for casting metal types for the letters. By 1448, he perfected the system. The first book he printed was the Bible with 180 copies. It took 3 years to produce them. The shift from hand printing to mechanical printing led to the print revolution. Impact of print revolution. Reading mania. Cheap books were made available. Penny books, shilling series, bibliotheque blue. These books wrote on topics concerning common people, women, and children. Lending libraries made books accessible to the common man. Impact of print revolution, religion, debate, and dissent. Martin Luther, a German monk, penned his 95 Theses on the Wittenberg Church, questioning Catholic practices. He then laid the foundation of the Protestant Reformation. Louis Sebastian Mercier wrote on the power of print. Menocchio questioned Catholic practices. The Church countered the movement by issuing print material praising the Church. The Church maintained a list of prohibited books which challenged their system. Impact of print revolution, social change, women and children. Children. Primary education was made compulsory for children up to 14 years in Europe. The first printing press was set up in France exclusively for children. George Eliot published the first compilation of folk tales and modern stories. Women. Books were published on appropriate behavior and conduct. Jane Austen, Brontë sisters, and George Eliot wrote defining a new type of woman who was strong with independent thought, thus challenging stereotypes. Political reform. Did print culture lead to the French Revolution? Print culture popularized the idea of enlightened thinkers, creating a mood of reason and rationality. By 1780s, there was a large amount of literature which questioned the practices of the church and royalty and the existing social order. However, we cannot say with surety that it was print that led to the French Revolution, as print may have opened up the possibility of reasoning and questioning, but did not directly shape the mind of the public. While people were influenced with the writings of Voltaire and Rousseau, there was a section of people who still deeply believed in the preachings of the church. Problems associated with manuscripts. Handwritten manuscripts. Fragile, difficult to carry around, expensive to reproduce in limited quantity, could not satisfy the ever increasing demands for books, laborious and time consuming. The circulation remained limited. Print comes to India. The English East India Company brought merchandised print to India. Early print in India included manuscripts, religious scriptures. Impact of print revolution in India, social change. From the late 19th centuries, issues of caste discrimination began to be written about. Jyotiba Phule wrote about caste injustice in his book Gulamgiri. Kashi Baba, in his book Chote aur Bade Ka Sawal, showed the links between caste and class exploitation, and Sudarshan Chakar, in his collection Sachi Kavitayan, also highlighted the caste and class issue. Impact of print revolution in India. Women. Liberal husbands and fathers began educating their womenfolk at home. But not all families were liberal. Conservative Hindus believed that a literate girl would be widowed, and Muslims feared that educated women would be corrupted by reading Urdu romances. Women broke stereotypes to educate themselves. Rashundri Devi self-educated herself secretly and wrote her tale in her autobiography Amar Jiban. Tarabai Shinde and Pandita Ramabai wrote with passionate anger about the miserable lives of upper caste Hindu women, especially widows. Innovations in print technology. Late 18th century metal press. Mid 19th century Richard M. Hoe perfects the cylindrical press capable of printing 8,000 pages per hour. Late 19th century, the offset press was developed, which could print up to 6 colors at a time. From 20th century, electrically operated press. Methods of feeding paper improved. The quality of plates became better. Automatic paper reels and photoelectric controls of the color register were introduced. India, press and censorship. The first signs of censorship were seen in the 1820s when the Calcutta Supreme Court passed regulations to control freedom of press. After 1857, the British felt a strong need to control the spread of nationalist ideas through press. In 1878, the British passed the Vernacular Press Act to curtail the growing influence of the vernacular press. The Vernacular Press Act gave extensive rights to censor the vernacular press.